Destiny in Blue. Adapt, abridged, and recorded by Joshua Gould. Content warnings for isolation, thalassophobia, violence, depression, suicide, psychosis, sharks, and death. Day 1. As we leave the safe harbour of my beloved Nakoti, I watch the face of my beloved fade into the mists behind me. Off we set, searching for new lands towards the Everstorm. Our beautiful vessel strides across the sea like a duck across a pond, searching for something. The metaphor falls apart somewhat. The Cheery Chestnut is a grand vessel, though not so much in name, certainly in character and build. The crew, some 30 strong, each one of them as seaworthy as the ship itself. Indeed, the future looks bright for us as we chase the horizon line. Day 2. As the day rose, so did the ocean fog, bewildering us before our journey had even begun to make ahead. A seagull, circling overhead like a carrion crow, chose this opportunity to soil my fine hat. Fortunately enough, I'm a dead shot with a pistol, and the damn thing dropped to the deck like a sack of potatoes. The crew, being superstitious types, didn't take kindly to my treatment of this flying rat. I, of course, have no time for such superstitions. We press on, hunting the edge of the world. Day 11. The guiding winds have died down to a bare whisper, letting the languid fog persist. Provisions are becoming scant, water and food being meagerly rationed out as the crew turn from fine figures of health to husks of their former selves. For a moment I saw a schooner nestled among the billowing clouds surrounding our own vehicle. At its helm a hooded figure with eyes aglow like candles in a cellar. After a blink it was gone, but I felt an invasive thought permeate my consciousness. It's all my fault. Everything that will happen is my fault. The great gusts that had driven us from our island home had abandoned us and left us somewhere. I cannot see the stars for this damnable fog, and as the sun it rises, dashing any hope of getting a good bearing. Once the fog has lifted from the sun, so were our spirits. A fine bottle of wine was found, nestled in the boatswain's belongings, a gift from her mother. It was poured lavishly, a toast to our new venture. May Venta fill our sails and Lusca calm the sea. As soon as we'd emptied our cups, a huge whale did breach the briny blue off port side, joining us in our celebrations and praises. It was gone as soon as it had appeared, a mere shadow neath the waters. I envy it. The edge of the world seems as far now as home is. Day 12. What was in that bottle? Over half the crew have been taken ill by what was first thought to be a symptom of the happiness they had borrowed whilst draining their sorrows, but seemingly not. A green pallor and hot flesh are the order of the day with this foul sickness. Dr. Trestleton does their best to remedy the situation, but how much can be done with the dried herbs and bandages? I'm thankful for my health, and that the calm waters and still winds do not offer my poor friends further discomfort. Day 13. There's little work to be done, and little cheer to be lifted, but my crew keep themselves occupied. Below deck I happened upon 4 of them playing a game, though I hadn't seen it before. They turned and saw me stony-faced, and said nothing as I passed by. On leaving the maudlin game of chance, I heard a commotion on deck. To my surprise, a handful of the crew stood on the starboard bow, peering over the side and gasping. Thinking it was another whale or a similar cetacean, I bounded over. No luck. A member of our party, the cabin boy, a delightful sprite by the name of Lucas Merriweather, had taken it upon himself to end his journey with us prematurely. No sign other than the bubbles of air that couldn't go with him remained. Poor lad. My heart aches for him and his family. I hope he finds peace in the beyond. This desperate moment set the tone for the rest of the day. The water is stagnant, the food has worms within it, and my crew grow irritable with me now. While water was being distributed, I betrayed myself and guzzled heartily, neglecting my sailors for a moment of weakness. Not that any respite was granted by the foul liquid that was just keeping us separated from joining young Lucas. One day, young man, I will be able to beg for your forgiveness. Day 13 Addendum. As I went to slumber in my quarters, I reached for the novel that had been keeping me company. Now my crew have taken to giving me the cold shoulder. Destiny in Blue, a daring tale of peril and pirates set across the backdrop of an alien world. It was missing. Now, I am the only one with a key, and as far as I'm aware, there are no other points of ingress or egress in my quarters. Concerning indeed. To clear my heads of thoughts of mutiny, I took a step on deck to breathe the cool night air. For the briefest moments I thought I felt a hint of breeze against my cheek, like being caressed by my beloved. I finished this entry optimistic, despite the day, that things are changing for the better. Day 14. A rareful, uneventful day, barring the lack of events being the event to mention. It wasn't until the evening that something worthy of note came to my attention. What at first was thought to be a school of glowing fish and then a phosphorescing jelly transpired to be, well, no one was quite sure what, as the whole ocean beneath us began to glow with a fervour. Like the changing dancing lights that happen upon the sky on a clear evening. We gathered on deck and marvelled at this peculiar oddment, and even shared a joke as people. Not as a captain among their faltering crew, but people caught in the rapture of the oddities of nature. Heavenly. A welcome break to the pressing feeling of being the one responsible for everything. Hathaway approached me, as the waters returned to their obsidian colours, and informed me that he'd been consulting with Flit this evening, and found that change was sure to come. A positive omen with the sea aglow. Well, he's never been wrong before. I retired to my cabin, my thoughts lost in the aquatic auroras, and on a whim decided to open my footlocker, thinking I could find a kerchief, perhaps, that might smell faintly of my beloved, when, to my great surprise, I found a small bottle of port. I'll keep this little treat to myself. The crew need not know. Day 14 Addendum. Awoken by the sounds of calling, I left my quarters to discover that a member of the crew was gone missing. One of the rigging folk disappeared while doing maintenance repair on one of the sails. Keeps. I think their name was that. Nice person. Could tell a delightful story. They will be missed. Hopefully they will be the last one to be missed. Day 15. A frightful morning. A horrible morning. Brought out of an uneasy slumber at an early hour by a gut-wrenching scrape from beneath the deck, as though our ship had struck a reef, to find that there was nothing that the crew had sighted to cause it, with only some deep gouges on the wood of the ship to show that anything was there. With nothing to do, I returned to an uneasy, fitful sleep, plagued with visions of storms and seagulls with mouths and eyes filled with worms or tentacles and hundreds of heads. It does not do me well to dwell on my dreams, but then my reality isn't much better. I found the quartermaster hunched over in the lower deck. At first I thought they were mending a broken fixture, but the sounds of gnawing piqued my curiosity. Rat bones. The rats, that I didn't even know we had gotten into the grain supplies and robbed us blind. Crawshank thought it best that she returns the favour to them. Rat stew for a few days, then. To rid my mind of this and many other things, I ordered that we take part in a bit of shooting practice and roll the cannons out. Inspired by this, many of them, my men, set about with renewed vigour to repair and clean our vessel. I long to be home, but I fear that day may never come. Day 16. I spoke too soon. Those repairs have done more harm than good. My hands are red and raw and bloodied from holding splintered wood in place and hammering in decrepit nails. We're watertight again. That's the main thing. I would kill for a hot bath. I would kill for an apple. Day 17. 3 of my crew, Jones, MacArthur and Smith, approached me this morning, chipper in their faces in spite of the past however many days of torture. They forgave me and apologized as they thought honestly no forgiveness need to be given. I hand-waved it all and insisted that I take the blame for this, They said they knew what they were getting into and wouldn't hear anything of it. MacArthur said, "You're our captain, and we respect you." The rest of the day passed without incident, and while I'm comforted by their words, I still feel a heavy burden on my heart. I will get them home. Day 17, addendum. A horrible, bloody addendum. Aroused from my light sleep by the sounds of laughter, I ventured into the hold, curious as to what was the source of great mirth. As I approached the sound, it transfigured from joyful tones to solemn wails and great sobs. Jones, MacArthur, and Smith all slashed through their throat in their bunks while they slept. Those poor wretches. Barely a lifetime between them, stripped of any potential future by some underhanded dog who clearly had it in for me and couldn't stand to hear someone speak well of me. Well, as I burn a candle, sat in the faint light offered to me by a meagre moonbeam that found its way into my cabin, I swear an oath. The person who did this will pay. By my hand, they will pay. The fog rises, and all around I can hear singing. Haunting, ethereal singing as if from a spectre. Perhaps it is the souls of those 3 boys being brought into the mesh. Day 18. Melancholy. That is the easiest way to describe the mood upon the ship. Following last night, the atmosphere is dour at best. There's a ship's song. Known only by a few, it speaks of the bones of the ocean and remembering the fallen. Without a thought, it rose from my throat and everyone else's as we sang in unison, finishing again without any indication or warning. We've not spoken about it nor discussed it. These things are best left unsaid. The body was pulled from the water. No idea if it was one of us, the skin rendered from the humanoid form. We put them back to be safe. Better safe than sorry. And the food is all maggot-rotten now, the taste is unbearable, and I will never forget it. I will never forget. I can't. I want to, I just can't. And that seagull, that bloody seagull, keeps circling above like it knows. It knows that I am the one who shot it, and it knows that I am the reason that we're all here. It knows that it will have its revenge. A small disc of wood, blackened from gunpowder, has been slipped into my hand. Good. Let them take me. I welcome them to try. Day 19. Crawshank told me there's no food left, and the crew hold me accountable. Good. There's no point to this expedition anymore. We'll all die on this god's-forsaken coffin of a vessel. My days are numbered and growing shorter as fatigue becomes my nourishment. I hope that one day I might feel the warmth of my beloved's arms. Day 20. 3 dolphins thought it right to join us today, no doubt mocking our situation. I envied their freedom as they danced amongst the waves. As soon as they arrived, they left, leaping high into the air before diving out of sight. A mirage, an illusion conjured by some sadistic sorcerer. At least one of them wasn't. Crawshank decided to try her hand at fishing and pulled one up. It was already dead, and had been placed on a substantial hook and line as though someone were hanging it up like a coat. Its skin was blackened and charred as though it had been roasted under the water. Beef liver, in case you were wondering. Dolphin tastes like beef liver. The dawn rises as I write this, kept awake by the visions of what I've seen and what's come to happen at my hand. My throat is raw from screaming at the sea, and the relentlessly calm, serene ocean that will be the death of us all. Gods, I don't care. Luska, Venter, Mesh, Flit, Jarl, they've all abandoned us. Day 21. Crawshank opened the last barrel of food. Something we'd walked past 100 times but had never seen. It managed to make its way among the gunpowder. Salted meat now filled with maggots and worms that bring to mind the disturbing dreams I've had for so many nights. We agreed to toss it overboard, but not before Trestleton tries to grab a handful of meat to feed his greedy maw. Oh, he claimed it was for the maggots, to treat the festering wounds that are now a defining feature on so many on this accursed journey. We put him in the barrel with the meat and the maggots and nailed it shut. Maybe it will attract some fish, we thought. The barrel floated for a while before gently bobbing below the surface. Must have been the air trapped inside it finally giving out. It occurs to me now that getting rid of the only one of us with medical training was perhaps not the most rational thing to do. But he was the one who had outlived us all, killing us off one by one. A rusted nail went through my foot. Stupid raft. The thing was bleeding of cannon fire. Oh, I'm sorry, Crawshank. You couldn't live with the guilt. Thank you for the coat. Oh. I think I'm the only one who made it. It's nudging at my raft again. Just stay safe. Stay out of the water. It snaps bones like matchsticks, loudly, sickeningly. Maybe they weren't all dead. Maybe they are now. They call for me from the fog. Come and get me! It wakes me up by cracking my friend's bones. The tendrils stop, the eye watched from below, a malodorous guardian. Crawshank, your coat is a poor sail. It makes me go in circle. I will jump in if I cannot move. Let it take me. I hate it. I live despite it. It lurks beneath. A shard of glass caught on flotsam keep me safe. The lifeboats are too far away, and they get dragged below. A dolphin got caught on the ropes. It will tip me over. Glass cuts rope. Glass cuts flesh. Be appeased by my offering. Destiny in blue. I found you. The planks are drifting apart. Thank you, Crawshank. Your coat keeps it together. A bag. Bandages, poultice, stethoscope, mirror. A bad mirror. It shows the wrong picture. Festering sores and dark, sunken eyes. I don't know them. A creature left a tooth, a claw, a gift. The wood is wet. The ship sinks. I hold you above my head to keep you dry. Who is the strange man in the mirror? Why does he follow me? He bobs on the horizon. That bastard Trestleton, taunting me. He wants my food. When I see him again, I will blind him, and that will teach him not to watch me. He's not here anymore. He's left us alone. Now there's no one for miles, apart from our friend beneath the waves, ruining our holiday. I'll strangle it. Bits came off in chunks. It didn't taste good. It sloughs off my hook. But I caught a dolphin. Delicious beef liver. Better than eating the creature. Water is glowing behind me. Sparkles and glitters like stars beneath the waves. The wisps dance like ghosts and angels ephemerally. They're taking my crew home. They won't take me. I won't dance, but Trestleton might, though. I have too many thoughts. They're too loud. Put them in the brig! Who put the fish on the boat? Tasty fishy. It's nice to eat it with my teeth. All wriggly, I'll spit out the feathers. Stop yelping. Emergency. Whose bag is that? A friend of Crawshank's, no doubt. I don't remember the attack. I remembered the slippery skin against my own. It asked if I want to live or die. Its glowing eyes invaded my own. I don't want to die, but I couldn't let them live. A roar from beneath the waves is quite a thing to behold. Hello, Crawshank. What are you doing here? Would you like your coat back? But you've not got any arms. Let me cheer you up. Who's your friend? Their eyes burn like candles. I like the way they wave. You have been listening to Destiny in Blue by Joshua Gould, adapted from the playthroughs of The Mariner by Nick Wheeler and Adrift by Adam Boyes, both games based on The Wretched by Chris Bezette and Loot the Room. Set in the world of Nikoti, designed by Joshua Gould, Alicia Hart and Jazz and Alice Instone Brewer for Dice and a Slice. For the unabridged audio version, please visit the Dice and a Slice podcast feed. Music and ambient sounds have been provided by Tabletop Audio. The tracks used were The Age of Sail, Open Ocean, and Into the Deep, in that order. Sound effects attained from zapsplat.com.